G'day bowlers, we're back at it. Haven't made a video in about a week and a half, but it's because I've been really busy coding. So I thought just to take this channel to the next level that I'd build a training app. So it's taken me about a month to build, but I've had a lot of ideas rattling around my head as to how we can do this. But anyway, long story short, what I've done is I've built an iOS Apple training app that allows us to create practice sessions here at Bowls in a way where we can pick the type of bowl that we're using, pick the size, we can put in the conditions. So, is it windy or is it hot? Are the bowls wide or are they narrow? I can put in the actual venue so I can create some custom notes for the venue because every rink is different. You can put in the name of the actual rink. So, as in you can put in rink 4, rink 5, rink 6, etc. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to be able to track every shot I play when I practice. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to identify the weaknesses in my game. Like we want to set a baseline per se so that we can actually start to, move forward, move in an inclined sort of direction when it comes to our training and purpose. So anyway, it's the type of app that I can release in the App Store so that we can all start to use it. If anyone's interested in using it, I can look to wrap it and chuck it up in the store. But at the same time, what it's identified to me is that there are a couple of things in my game that I need to improve, because what it does is it does a wraparound analysis. It throws it into machine learning, into AI, because I'm a software developer and I'm a database manager for New Zealand Nurses Organisation, which is the second largest union in New Zealand. I've got a lot of experience with data lakes and with machine learning and AI and LLM and vector databases and so on. So anyway, without all the technical speak, what it means is that when we come out here, we can now start to systematically design our drills in a way where we can record every shot that we play. Machine learning will then have access to all of your personal data whenever you decide that you want it to actually wrap up and give you a bit of an analysis as to where you are. And it also means that we can start to build tailored programs, as in little programs that we design together to go, okay, I want to play runners today. I want to play all shots on the 6 foot mark, or I want to play shots on the spot, right? In terms of X amount of draws, X amount of runners, X amount of drives. So we can build all these custom programs. And what happens at the end of it is that we can then wrap it and we can ask AI to analyze our training session and it can give us feedback. You're skinny on the long ends, on the backhand, or you're doing better with these types of bowls on this type of surface, or at 99 Bowling Club on rink 4, you should use your XGs instead of your Taylor GTRs because you're a lot more consistent on the draw with them. This could be pretty interesting stuff. So I've got a little bit carried away. But what I want to do today is just run a little drill and show you what it looks like, because then we can start to build training programs on the channel and I can build them on the app, and you can literally go out and you can click on the program and just run it and go through it. You can get all your data in and you can build your baseline so that you understand where your weaknesses are in your game and you can start to systematically improve them. So I'm going to just set up a little drill. Let's just do 5 ends, a real basic 5 ends, right? So we'll go freestyle, which means that I've got 2 sets of bowls. We can play against each other with those bowls, play various shots, and I'll show you how it works on the app. And then we can get back to more training in the channel. All right, so this is my little app, Torny. So it's an iOS app, and you can download it to your iPhone. So if you've got an iPhone 13, 14, up to 17, like the iPhone 17 Pro has just been released in 3 weeks, you can download this little app. And the reason why I've made this is because as a part of me coming back to bowls, I've made a commitment to myself that I really want to be able to systematically improve and strategically improve. And the frustration that I've had is that it's very hard to tell as to what areas I should be focusing. That was a nice little opening shot. And when I say what areas I should be focusing, it's like I don't have a baseline. I don't know exactly what I'm doing wrong in terms of what shots I'm struggling with. So, you have a suspicion. You might be like, okay, I've got a good idea that I'm a little bit better on the backhand than the forehand. I'm a pretty good driver. Whenever I play weighted shots or ditch weight shots, I prefer to play the forehand than the backhand, for instance. That isn't me, for instance, but it's just a case of. So anyway, so because I'm a developer, I've had this idea rattling around my head for about 6 months. So I started building it. Like, this took me about a month to put together, but pretty obsessively, knowing what I'm doing. And I started prototyping it a little bit about probably 4 or 5 months ago. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to come back and play bowls, I'm actually going to build this. And then I'm going to release it on the channel. And it's not because I think it's going to be something, but it's just, it excites me. Its potential excites me. And the reason is because I've got a few good shots going on here. And you can see down the left-hand side that I'm recording every shot. So it gives you an idea as to how the app works. So the reason why I'm excited about it is because if we can get all this data into what's called a vector database, we can search against it with what's called natural language search, natural language processing, and it converts that natural language processing, like as in just your sentence, like I can go, okay, what hand am I better on, forehand or backhand? And it'll convert that into this vector machine learning language. And we'll pull it out of the database for us, and then we'll pass it to LLM, which is the likes of ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or the likes. And you can then ask questions against it and summarize it. So you can see I'm playing 5 ins here. And what I'm doing with the app here is that I am tracking every shot I play. So I can track if it's a draw, if it's, if I'm playing on the forehand or backhand, what length I'm playing. When I set up the session, I can choose the bowls that I'm playing with. So I've put all the manufacturer's bowls in there. I can then choose a club that I'm playing at. So I'm seeding the app with every bowling club in the world. That's taking me a while, so you'll have to be a little bit patient with it. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want us to be able to track our performance against every green in the world. Sounds a little bit ambitious, or it could sound a little bit overkill in terms of, why you're doing this, because it's bowls. But when you think about it, so it doesn't matter if it's golf or bowls or swimming or whatever it is. The only difference between these games is how much money you get paid. But objectively, what I'm looking at is the raw data. Bowls is a precision sport. The whole thing is line and length. It's consistency. So if we can go out there and religiously practice in a way where we're putting the data in, we can start to build profiles on different greens and different clubs. And we're not just building a profile on the club and the greens, we're building a profile on ourselves, as in like know yourself. And that's quite powerful stuff. And the reason is because if you truly know what your real strengths are on different green types and with different bowls, it means that when you go out and you play a game, you can make decisions based on it. So I'll give you an example. So if you're playing against somebody and they're getting on top of you in a game, the first thing you'd want to do is either look at, how do I get them off their game, right? How do I change the length? How do I change the rhythm or mix up the length every end to try and mix up their rhythm? Or the other side of the coin is, how do I then start to play to my strengths? So for instance, this session that I'm doing here, you can see that, I've got live analytics and everything in there, so I can see how I'm performing because I'm tracking every bowl and I can put notes in against every bowl, right? So I might go, okay, this guy's getting on top of me, right? So the orange bowls are getting on top of me. What I need to do is start to play every bowl to my strength. So I might go, okay, I know for a fact that I'm a better drawer on the back end. So the first thing I do is swap over to the back end. Second thing I do is I go, okay, what is my best length on this type of surface? And because you've got the data, you know it, and you can actually, I'm thinking about building a little search engine inside the app where you can just ask it, on a 16-second carpet, what's my best length? And it'll return and say, your best length is 3/4 on the back end. That's pretty crazy stuff. So what that means is when you start to get in trouble, first thing you do is you throw 3/4 and play every bowl backhand. And because your percentage is 20% higher. And then all of a sudden you can sway the game and you end up getting back into the game. Like, that's quite a powerful thing. What you can then also do is you can profile other players. So you could sit and watch. Or we could pull up old games and we could put in all their data and build a profile on any player. How did Aaron Sheriff play in the 2025 Australian Open Singles final? And we could go through and we could map 20 games or 50 games and build a profile on a player. You know all his strengths, you know all his weaknesses, you know what links to play him on. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know, this is a geeky project because I'm a hybrid geek. But then I was sort of thinking, okay, well, what if we could then profile teams? You know, like, okay, so what if, I'm sort of thinking is the next stage of this, if you want me to keep building it out and you want to start using it, we could then start to link up, link up players in our teams. So how good would it be if we could then invite and or befriend each other, not befriend each other, but give each other access to data. And then we could start to collectively map every rink of a club so that everyone in our club knows how to play every rink, both directions. So when we come to pennant time, we can just search our tool, our LLM, our AI app for bowls. We can just go, okay, I'm playing on rink number 6 and I'm playing away from the clubhouse. What bowls should I use? What hand should I play? And we could potentially get to the point where it's like, what players are best suited to play on this rink, and or can you suggest combinations of teams for pennant based on the data? Because it could make recommendations about what our pennant teams should look like in terms of positions, because everyone's data's in it. This is the best second, this is the best third, this is the best skip. Like, we could actually optimize pennant teams, state teams, national teams based on this data. And it's all based on if you're training properly and you're doing the right thing. So you can see here on my session that I'm playing against myself with the orange bowls and the blue bowls. And all you have to do is just pull it out and just track the bowl. And it only takes you a minute and can become a part of your routine. And it's just when you're practicing. And if you get a bit more serious about it, what you can do is you can do it when you're playing as well. Because when you're playing is obviously a little bit different to when you're practicing. When you're playing, because of the intensity and the focus, you may be playing better. And you might find that when you practice, you slack off because you're a bit sort of half-assed about it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know exactly where this is going to go, like I said, but it's a passion project. But I think there's something in it. I definitely think there's something in giving coaches the ability to add players and to look at their data and to work with the AI collectively, because the AI is not a coaching AI to take the job of coaches. That's not its role. It is an assistant, but a very intelligent, powerful assistant that has all your historical data that you put into it. Like, it's crazy. Like, our minds can't fathom the amount of data that you can put into these things. That was a good shot. I just drove and took out my own bowl. But it just gives you a good example of what you can do with it. So what I found with this green was that one side of the green when you drove, so if you drove towards the clubhouse on the forehand, the drive swung 2 feet. If I drove in the backhand, it swung 2 feet. But if I swapped over and played the opposite hand, it went dead straight. And so I was getting caught. So I was driving. I'm normally a pretty good driver. It's one of my strengths. My draws, like, I'm pretty handy at most shots. But I'd sort of, like, when it comes to my drive, I sort of fancy it's one of my best shots. That and the draw. I love playing swingers and I'm good at them, but as in I love driving and I love drawing. So when you get on synthetics and stuff like that, that's all you do. Anyway, long story short, what this session pointed out to me immediately was that, on rink 4, playing away from the clubhouse, the bowl swung a mile on the backhand, and when you were driving, like you're talking about, it's turning this much. It's crazy. Like, and I kept missing narrow, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? And then I'm like, okay, I'll swap over, and drove, and the thing went dead straight, and I missed wide again on the other side. So then I started aiming at it, and that's when I started getting a few, and that's when I took out my last bowl, last end. But what is really cool is, okay, if I build the vector search, which I'm looking to do next, I could just ask the search engine, I could just ask the search, At 90 Bowls Club on Rink 4, playing this direction, give me the lay of the land. And it'll go, it's wide on this side, be careful driving, it turns a couple of feet, and it'll say, it's narrow on the opposite side. Which means that then when I play someone here in Pennant or in the club singles or anything like that, I can just ask it and know this data, know what to look out for before I even start. And then if we, as a team, collectively go through every rink in every direction, on the grass and the carpet, and map the entire club, it means that all of us have at our fingertips how to play every rink the best you possibly can, optimised. And so we could have multiple people on the same rink over time putting the data in. And we've completely mapped the rinks. So this is the future of sport, as in like as an assistive tool. They've been doing it in baseball and football and that for a long time. But when it comes to bowls and golf and so on, I want to do it in a way where it's really accessible for all of us. So you can see here. So, yep, it's a mobile app. It's on iOS. You can build your profile. And the reason why you can build your profile, I'll show you, is because I want to get your club in there. And I want to get a bit of information about you in there so that we can build up your profile. And so, yeah, you don't need to choose your sport, that's already populated. But if you just put in your Dalesford Bowling Club and stuff, the AI will then recognise that that's your home club. And the reason why I want to do that is because, okay, if there's a few of you out there that are interested in having a go and getting a bit more serious about your training and learning about yourself, because that's what we're trying to do with this thing, is learn what we're good at and what we're not so good at, is then you can build up your profile so that you're building up a knowledge base for yourself that is driven by AI, and whenever you go and play in any tournament, you can chuck that data in and use it as your assistant. So one thing to point out here too is I've added a feature where you can add notes against every bowl, and so what happens is those notes get stored in the database, get converted into a vector string. But what it then means is we can get a lot more information into the AI. So that's why we're doing it. So you can use voice to text as well. So you can hit down the bottom, you can hit the little microphone icon, and you can just say to it, I was wide on the backhand, watch out, there's a run that runs for about 4 feet, about halfway up the green when you have the mat halfway up the green. So that's the type of stuff you want to be putting in there. And the reason is because over a 6-month period, you'll know everything. You'll have so much information about all of these rinks and your different bowls, because this applies to the bowls as well. So you can put in, I'm using XGs, or I'm using GDRs, or I'm using SRs on this carpet, and this is how they're behaving. What it means then is you can go, okay, well, I'm playing somebody on this rink, on this green at this club. What bowls do you recommend I use? And the AI will come back and go, well, typically on TIF Turf on 15-second greens, your GDRs perform the best by a mile or whatever. Specifically on this hand is your strength, and this length, and this is how you should be playing. So you can think of it as your little assistant that you can build up over time. And, the change in the world has just been crazy with the release of AI. And like I said, this doesn't take the role of a coach. This can be a really powerful tool for a coach, because how would it be if a coach could then overlook the entire team? The AI is helping the players, the AI is helping the coach, and the coach can then oversee and make notes in the app and so on. And you'll just see here on the left-hand side, I'm using the voice command. So voice to text, I press that button, and now I'm just talking, and it just writes out the session notes, and I can save it. So anyway, so what I was saying is, the coach can then coach and oversee the team, look at their results, make sure you're training. What we can also do too is I can crank up the geolocation in the phone. So it means that every time you create a session, I can stamp where you are via the GPS. And that is for sort of more serious coaches, like if you're coaching the regional team or the national team or anything like that, and you've got 20 or 50 players underneath you, every time they create a session, we can use the GPS to mark that they're actually at the club and they're not making this stuff up. And we can use push notifications. So what I was thinking was, how cool would it be if we could build programs, training drill programs into Torny that you automatically get notified of, because the AI can turn around and go, you haven't practiced your draw shot in 3 weeks. I recommend you go to the club on Tuesday or Thursday and practice this drill, and give them the drill. And what we can do with the drill is you click on the drill and then it'll automatically step you through what you have to do and record every bowl. We can build those automated programs, and we could build a whole pile of them so that we can basically, train on autopilot. You can sort of build and tick what we want to do next, and then it'll help us automatically do it and remind us and keep us on task. So, this is part of my comeback in terms of, but it's not even that. It's like, it's a combination of me loving programming and being a geek and loving to build stuff, and applying it to bowls to basically see what happens. So I'm really keen to see how my results go, because I'm starting to use this now, and I'm excited to go back up to the club shortly and to apply this and see how my season goes, because I've got a really strong feeling that this is going to help me tremendously in my game. So what I'll do now is you'll see down here on the left hand side that I'm running the AI analysis. So have a look at this. So what I've done here is I've literally pulled up my game, because I was aqua versus orange, and I literally clicked on Torny Ai, and what it did is it took all the results of that session, ran it through AI, and returned the key insights, the strengths, the areas for improvement, and recommendations and drills as to what I can do to improve my game. So you see that down the left hand side, strengths: you perform well in achieving a good success rate, 70.8% of getting your bowls within a yard of the jack on draw shots. Then areas for improvement: weight control on long shots. You're currently 54.8% success rate on long shots. Drive shot accuracy, recommended drills: weight control drill, achieve 7 out of 10 jacks within da-da-da. So, yep, it's just giving us some little recommendations about what we can do, but we could turn those into programs. You'll see here I scored 25 out of 48 points, and it breaks down every shot: length, the type of shot. It takes the notes into consideration as well. So anyway, you'll see in your little analytics dashboard, have a look at this. Overall performance, 2 sessions, 48 shots, average score 1.1. We've got shot analysis. So let's click on the shot analysis. Okay, lifetime performance, 48 shots, 26 successful. You can change the week, you can change the month. It shows you the surface that you're playing on. Gives you detailed shots breakdown. And this is over the life of your career, so you can see how you're progressing over time. Draws: 21 within a foot, 22 within a yard, 5 misses. So the reds are bad here, but don't have many reds. Majority of sort of green or orange. Orange is within a yard, green is within a foot, and then it gives us a breakdown of our length performance. So you start to understand yourself: what am I really good at, and what am I not so good at? Forehand and backhand analysis are almost exactly the same, which is great, because I always, when I practice, I go half forehand, half backhand. Conditions analysis, so we can break down how hot it is. The green type, the bowls type. You'll see here we just clicked on comparative analysis, so that shows us via bar charts, forehand, backhand, comparative data, shots and lengths. Time analysis: do we suffer fatigue over a period of time and progressively get worse? I've got all of that in there. Because that's the thing. It might be like, okay, you suffer in the back half of the game, so, you have to eat foods to help you with that, or you have to work on your strength and conditioning training to so you don't suffer at the end of the day. Time period. What else have we got in there? Torny Ai. So what this does is pull everything, the history of your training, and compile where you're at and run it through AI. So this is analysing your performance. I notice your backhand accuracy, 62.5%, is considerably higher than your forehand. And the reason is because in that game, the ball was swinging on that side of the green. So I was playing backhand away from the club, and it was turning nice. But when you played the opposite direction, it swung 2 feet. So it made it look like my backhand was a lot better than my forehand. But what it was the rink was actually different, one hand or the other. It gives us equipment analysis, your XGs, your outperformed the Taylor SRs. And in this game I just played, my SRs won by about 5 shots. And that was because I drove and took out my own bowl and dropped a 4. But the analysis shows that you played better with the XGs. But I didn't play better with the XGs. I drew better with the SRs, but I played weighted shots better with the XGs because I played a few runners and I got 100%. I landed them all. Forehand accuracy, drive shot accuracy, medium length shot consistency, you're 50%. So it really paints a picture. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to map our own game. And then you might go, okay, here are the holes in my game. This is what I struggle with. I'm now going to practice these things and improve them. You know, I am going to systematically improve my game and, you know, hopefully win more titles because I know what I'm doing and I've got structure and I'm, you know, systematically improving rather than guessing and just going out and throwing balls around. You know, so it's not for everybody. It's, you know, it's just going to be free. I'm just going to chuck it up. There's a cost for me running that AI. So if it gets out of hand and a lot of us download it, I'm going to have to charge something because I'll go broke. Because I won't be able to pay for all the infrastructure. But at the moment, what I'd like to do is just release it to a whole bunch of us to test it. So I think I'll put a wait list together and I'm going to, you know, I've built a little site for it. Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a whole bunch of us get going on it as, you know, the founding members of it. Like it may not become anything, we may throw it in the bin, but if it's actually going to be something, what I'd like to do is I'd like to reward anybody that jumps on with me and starts using it and helps shape the future of the product. Because I think what we do is we build it together and we build it as per what all of us want. And so I'll have to build a page or two, a section into it where you can actually give us feedback as to what you want, and then we can do, you know, we can build it any way we like because it's, you know, it's completely independent. I'm the developer, you know, it's my cloud infrastructure, all the AIs, all my work. I'm building web servers. I've got a web server in the cupboard as well. I do everything in Azure and AWS as well, and I've built a little Torny website so that everyone can understand what it is. And this is purely a passion project. And it's overkill for lawn bowls, I understand that. It's not just about that. It's sort of like, you know, I want to build this for Noah, for mini golf and for golf, because he's learning how to play at the moment. He had his second proper lesson in the simulator. So I'm going to talk to his coach about how I can get something going for him as well, so we can, you know, develop it for his little game. And I reckon it'd be interesting to map mini golf courses and stuff with this as well. So, okay, so you'll see here I'm just going through the second game that we had up, and that was the XG game. So we're just comparing. So what I think in the future would be cool is if we could compare games, in terms of compare plays in a game. So we could do some analysis on videos moving forward to do that as well. When Aaron Sheriff played somebody else, or Aaron Wilson played Aaron Sheriff, and we could actually run the data next to each other and we could actually have a look at why they won. That's cool. So we can do more of these Bowlscraft videos, and I'll start doing them with the Torny app as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the link below, go to the website and register as a founding member. If you jump in as a founding member, I'm not going to charge you for using this app for life, but I have to cap it. So I think I'll cap it at 1,000 of us for life. All features, do what you like with it, and you can also help with the feedback, which I'd very much appreciate. And what we can do too is I can create training videos and put them in there. But if you're a founding member, I'm going to give you a founding member badge. I would really want to build out the profiles and, you know, make your profile really stand out. And I think what would be cool is if we build some leaderboards as well, training leaderboards and stuff. So if you nominate that you want to be on that, we can pull up those that are putting in the most effort. And I think we could build some chat features and stuff like that in there too, so we can get group sessions going and talk to each other and really hone in on getting better. because, you know, this is what this tool is all about. It's an assistive tool to help us get better. So I'm going to let you go. I hope you enjoyed it. And subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the email list for Torny.